Yes. Welcome back, people of Earth. Welcome back to the one, the only Shadow Nation. Demon Hunter?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 3 bags full.
That's right. Sheep, 3 bags. That's an old one, I remember. Anyway.
Yes, sir.
It is. Special thanks to all our home builder sponsors, Stitcher, Smart Radio, Spreaker, the world's listening. Are you? They want to know, so check them out, Spreaker.com. Our friends at Planet Paranormal, and of course, Geeky Antics Network. Serious geeks and silly fun at geekyantics.net. And a 10 of home healthcare at 10 of HHC.com. Yes, Whale Project, give a share. Nathan?
Everybody needs a little love.
Yes, Whale Project.org. Welcome back.
Yay!
To the Shadow Nation.
Shadow Nation.
The Shadow Zone.
We are shadowing right now.
The Shadowy. The Shadowtonians. I was going to start calling our listeners the Shadowtonians, but we call the show Shadow Nation based on our listeners that are the Shadow Nation.
Yeah, well, would they be Shadowites?
Shadowites, yeah, I guess. Shadowtonians. Have you ever seen that old... Do you remember, and I know you did this because we talked about it before, was it Masters of Horror?
Yes.
What channel that used to be on? Do you remember?
I want to say that it was when I was growing up, it was like Channel 5, I think, before it was Fox.
I don't know. But it was really good. I loved it. Remember that was the one that had the black cat with that ground Poe?
Yep.
And
I've got a few of those on DVD.
I don't have them DVD.
In fact, I have that one on DVD, the black cat.
Mm-hmm. I knew you'd have that one. They, I've been buying them digitally. What do you think about that? Buying movies digitally. I
don't like buying movies digitally.
Why is it? Tell me.
This is my feeling on it.
Yeah.
You download them, you save them on a device.
That's right.
And if anything happens to that device, they're gone.
No, that's not it. I thought that too. You save them to like your
cloud.
It's like cloud. It's the account. But I hate. Okay. I don't trust. We're old. That's why I don't trust the virtual accounts. You know.
See, this was my feeling, and I don't know if things have changed. So nobody go writing a letter campaign to Amazon and iTunes and stuff. But I had an issue when they first started doing this, where I would buy movies. Well, actually, it wasn't with movies. It was like soundtracks.
Yeah.
I'd buy music, and I'd download it. And then if you saved it on your account that was like a cloud that was connected directly to the people you were buying it from, like iTunes or Amazon, right. And then that company no longer provided it through Amazon, they could actually go into your account and remove it.
Yeah.
And so that was a little upsetting, to say the least.
Yeah.
I was not pleased with it because of that, and because of that, I haven't done it since. Really, I remember when you and I got together for Comic-Con last year.
Oh yeah.
When the whole thing was over, we were like, we're still hyped. I can't go to sleep, so we downloaded
The Boy,
Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
We downloaded Deadpool, and you paid for it, and I was sitting there thinking. Now, if he ever you downloaded it to your DVR,
I know.
And if the company ever contacts you and says, "Oh, that DVR doesn't work anymore, you have to get a new DVR," you lose that movie.
And you looked at me like I was crazy when I.
Yeah, I really did, because I was like, "You're gonna spend $14.99 to have it on your DVR."
No, they have to keep it though. I did find out. I thought, man, if it's going to the Xbox One or whatever, is it storing it on that? But it's not. But as far as I know, you have to continue to pay for the Xbox Live account to be able to, because that's what I buy off of.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I just got Netflix.
Oh, yeah?
Week. Just got it.
Oh, my God.
I finally gave in. I went out and I bought a Netflix-compatible DVD player, Blu-ray. Hooked it up to the big screen TV in the living room.
Moving up.
And got Netflix and hooked it up to the TV. And started really downloading and watching what's that show you love? It's called something like Stranger Things.
Oh yeah,
got into that this week, and of course I had seen the first couple episodes, and Sean had said you got to wait till episode 4. That's when it starts getting really good.
Yeah,
and I was like, no. I'm an old time believer in you have to catch me in the first 2 sentences of a story, otherwise I'm not following through.
Yeah, you sent me a text. You go, I thought this was supposed to get good in episode 4 or something. It was good from start to finish, man.
Well, I got to say this. I found episode 1 really good.
Right.
I did. Yeah. Episode 1, because we're from the 80s. And you spend the entire episode just going, I remember that from the 80s. I remember that from the 80s. I was loving it. And then episode 2, they started explaining the characters. Episode 3, they start explaining the tragedy. And then in episode 4, you start getting a little bit more of the supernatural aspect of it. But I will say that in episode 5, it really caught my attention. So.
Yeah, episode 5 was good, and I can't wait. Have they even announced there's going to be a season 2 yet?
I've been following it on the internet, Sean. There are so many rumors out there about what's going to be going on with episode. Everybody's like, oh, there's going to be a new love interest for the sheriff, and oh, there's going to be this, and oh, there's going to be that, and oh, it's coming back. But absolutely nobody is saying exactly when it's going to be back on TV. And in fact, you remember last year, end of last year, I did Connecticut Comic-Con.
Uh-huh.
And I met this guy at Connecticut Comic-Con, and he plays the monster.
The Demogorgon.
The Demogorgon, yep. And even every person that walked up to his booth said, when is it coming back? And he couldn't tell anybody, Well,
Nathan, speaking of the guy that you met at Connecticut HorrorCon.
Yeah, who is that?
Tonight's guest! Can you believe it, guys? Tonight's guest for years has brought thrills and chills to both your television and the silver screen. Best known for his epic work on American Horror Story, I Am Legend, The Diabolical, and of course, the Netflix smash hit, Stranger Things. Tonight, Mr. Mark Steger, the Demogorgon himself. Gonna be right here in the Shadow Nation studios with Sean and Nathan, the Ghost Man and Demon Hunter, baby! What do you think, Nathan?
I think that I will be listening.
You will.
To this. I will be listening.
God, I hope you will be. But I was thinking,
unlike most nights where I sit here and go, "What? Did somebody say my name? Yes, I'm here. Yeah. What's going on?"
Well, nobody, like you said, the internet's going wild. Everybody because it kind of left everybody like, "What did just happen?" Because it was such a good movie.
I haven't gotten there yet.
Well, I did, man. I got there and.
How many episodes are there in total in season 1, Sean?
Oh my God, was it 8? I watched them all. 8? I binge watched.
Okay, so I'm in the middle of 6 right now.
Okay, so you're about done then. But it's the last episode. Trust me, you're going to be going, oh my, what? What?
See, the really hard part is I held off for so long because I kept my roommate. I have a housemate shares the house I live in, and my wife. Oh. All here, and they all are interested in it.
What, Stranger Things?
Stranger Things, but none of them have watched it. So they kept saying, yeah, let's sit down and watch it. Let's sit down and watch it. Yeah. And we'd go to sit down and watch it, and something would happen, and somebody wasn't there, so we'd wait, and we'd wait. And finally, I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to watch it on my own. Right. We're going to be talking about it this week on the show. I got to start watching it. So
we're not just talking about it. We're having one of the main stars. Oh, and I wanted to say, guys, next week, be sure to stay tuned, Nathan, because, hey, little brother, supermodel from Ireland, up and coming.
Oh, are we gonna meet a supermodel?
Alwyn Catherine Kelly from Ireland. She's gonna be stopping by the studio, man. I am stoked. This is the first time in Shadow Nation.
Can I ask her supermodel questions?
Yes. What size panties can she give you?
Oh, you better not ask her that.
What kind of panties do you wear? Well, she's a model. She is
a professional actress, sir, and we should treat a professional actor, and we should treat her with respect.
On this show, supermodel on this show. Yeah,
we're gonna give it ourselves away, and nobody's ever gonna come on the show again.
I know. That's like throwing a steak to the sharks. It just ain't gonna last long. I guess
if after all this time they keep coming on Howard Stern, we're mild. And so.
Well, she's from Ireland. And I got some kind of Irish blood in me mixed with all my Americana blood and whatever else blood I got in me. So
some kind of Irish blood.
Yeah, it's
you
tainted.
Had a transfusion at some point.
It's been tainted. It's in the bloodstream somewhere. I had an uncle, a crazy uncle or something.
Have you ever thought about doing one of those DNA tests?
A leprechaun. Yeah, I would love to do that.
I think I'm gonna buy one of those. They go on sale about 4 times a year, where they knock them down from like $100 a test.
You talking about swabbing the inside of your mouth kind of thing?
Yeah. Which actually, that kind of throws me because the new tests, they don't even swab the inside of your mouth. You spit in a jar.
Yeah.
Now, 20% of the public of the world, meaning everybody in the world, is what is known as a non-secretor.
Okay, they can't spit.
Well, no, they see most people, if you spit into a jar, if you bite somebody, this is how, like, if there's a rape victim or something like that,
right,
and they bite someone, they get the DNA from the bite, from the saliva,
right,
but
right.
20% of the public does not actually secrete their blood type antigens into their saliva.
Okay.
So they are a non-secretor. So there is no DNA in your saliva.
Really?
Yeah, that's 20% of the public. Just like some people can curl their tongues,
right.
or genetic traits that are
right.
throwbacks to an earlier time.
Yeah.
20% of the public still have this non-secretor status.
Right.
So I'm wondering, if you spit into a jar and send it in, and they test it and there's no DNA in the spit,
right.
do they send you back a swab and say, okay, that didn't work, we're going to need cheek cell to continue doing it? Now, secretor cells are probably one of the easiest to test.
Yes.
They're one of the ones that I used to work with in the lab.
Mm-hmm.
So, blood requires a lot of breakdown to reach what you're trying to get. You've got to it's several different tests just to get to the point where you can run, or several different steps before you can test the blood.
Yeah.
So by using saliva, they're actually cutting out all those tests, but 20% of the public can't use it. So
right.
I've often wondered, what they're doing to counteract that 20% of the population.
Right. Well, back in the day when I was in college and stuff, I met a lot of girls that, they couldn't spit.
Well, that's another question. I mean, if a young lady runs the test just after a evening with a boyfriend, does it, or a young man after an evening with a boyfriend, does it change their DNA status?
You have all kinds of known DNA here, but it's not yours. That's terrible.
But it honestly has made me wonder, and it also made me think. And as you know, a lot of these God, folks, don't send me hate mail over this.
Send him hate mail.
But a lot of these genealogy companies are run by the Mormon Church,
right?
And they're literally trying to find heritage traits to their own members,
right.
And that's one of the things they do.
Yeah.
But you have to think, if they can take your spit and figure out where you came from, how many years have they been bringing in this information to build up a database to run against, to say, you come from northern Scotland.
I don't know.
You come from Western Africa.
Yeah.
You come from, the steppes of Russia. And how many people have they actually been able to test over this time? And nobody's known that they're doing this all this time. Yeah. So there's literally been laboratory tests going on all over the world for probably a decade or more to build up this information, and nobody knows about it, and yet people don't believe that the government can hide a secret.
Yeah. Who thought that? Anyway, here in America, though, with the Native Americans, I've heard of that before, doing swab tests and stuff to see how much Indian they have in their bloodline or whatever, so they could get the government discounts, government grants, and whatnot for college.
Well, it comes down to if you have at least 1/8 of your DNA is Native American to a particular in general, you can receive certain grants and privileges to Native Americans.
Yes.
If you can prove that you're at least 1/16 of a particular tribe, you can claim, you can petition for rights to that tribe.
Yeah.
So if that tribe, say, has a casino,
right?
That has been going on for some time.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, yeah, I doubt you'd get a right to the casino. You'd have to have a large percentage.
Well, no, honestly, most of those tribes have to pay out checks to all members of the tribe to gain their status as a tribal casinos. So say a casino brings in $40 million a week.
Try to stifle me.
Each member of the tribe gets like a 1/100th of that money each week. So it's or however many of members there are to the tribe, they receive a portion, and then a portion of it depending on the individual person. So I mean, it is actually set up to provide for the tribe.
Oh, well, that's good.
You know,
it's good. I know they test it thoroughly. They check before they give that money out, folks.
Oh,
so don't get any ideas.
The tribes are very, very strict. I mean, my nephew, his father was a pure-blooded Apache, and his mother was a Cherokee, his father was his grandfather was pure-blooded Apache, and his grandmother was pure-blooded Cherokee. Yeah. So he's 4/8. They go by eighths. 4/8 American Indian, which makes his sons 2/8 American Indians. So, but the problem is his father died before he was ever able to prove this fact, and because he was born his father was born during a time when American Indians were frowned upon. When he was born, the doctor actually handed him a blank birth certificate to fill out, and his grandfather filled out the word Caucasian.
Yeah. How's Thanksgiving around there with the family? Is it kind of weird?
It gets a little sticky.
Hi, how are you?
Fortunately, I always come to Thanksgiving with my guns, so we win every time.
And your blankets. That's terrible. That's terrible. Oh,
I'm an evil man. You know what? It was funny. My housemate came in today, and I was cleaning my guns in the living room, and he looked over and said, "My God, it looks like a scene out of Leon the Professional."
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. Clean your guns. You got to keep them clean.
You have to, otherwise they misfire.
They do. Hey, it's always fresh. It's always exciting. Straight from the Shadow Nation vaults, guys, and it starts right now. That's it. We're gonna get the news in tonight. We haven't done it the last couple of weeks.
We haven't, but we've been talking about other topics. So it's okay.
Well, slow topics, long topics, short topics.
You know what the problem is? Weird news pops up, and this time of the year, it's always political, so we've just been kind of avoiding it. So.
Okay, man. First up to bat tonight, researchers hilariously debate whether or not to kill Bigfoot.
Yeah. I thought Bigfoot was protected.
I don't know. Shouldn't we find him first before we debate on whether or not to kill him? I don't know.
And why are they joking about it? I mean, you're joking about some people's true beliefs. Isn't that like? Isn't that kind of?
It's crazy.
Like, it hurts my feelings.
Yeah. You can't kill the big guy.
I feel like I need a safe space.
You do.
Go and take, and I need to take Bigfoot there so nobody kills him.
You should take Bigfoot with you. I'm sure he'll go willingly. He won't rip your limbs off or anything. Anyway, Bigfoot is the giant creature, is one of us. That's what they're saying. Then that's murder, right? That's the question they're asking. Yeah, there's a big debate going on in the Bigfoot community. Should you kill the hairy creature? Assuming, of course, you can actually find one. Yeah, anyway, that is the argument, Nathan. That's what's going on. It's running through the killingbigfoot.com website. It's a 6-part series that they're trying to put together, and it debuts on February 4th on Destination America. Aha. The show follows a team of monster hunters known as the Gulf Coast Bigfoot Research Organization. Here we go. GCBRO. GCBRO.
Okay.
Gulf Coast. Hey, that works good. GCBRO. Anyway, as they attempt to track down and shoot a Sasquatch-type creature. This is the purpose of the show. Supposedly attacking people's homes, farm animals, and pets in the Deep South.
So does that mean if they come across the lizard monster, because we know...
he's got to go too.
Yeah. But they haven't gotten permission to shoot him.
There has to be a debate and, of course, a contract for a television series.
Yes.
Before you can kill him. I don't know. Anyway, not everyone approves of the team's mission. In the clip below that they posted here, neuropsychologist Dr. Samuel Webb, maybe we can get him on the show, a former member of the GC Bro, pleads with his group leader Jim Lansdale and a member Donald McDonald not to kill a Bigfoot. As the debate goes, this one gets hairy. Anyway, Webb said, here's the thing. Here's the reason you can't shoot one. They are intelligent. They seem to have families. They are human. They are either human or human hybrid. Jim replied, and they're all theories. Everything you just said was theory. Everything. You can't prove anything. Webb says, is it theory? Is it theory? No, we can't prove it. No, you can't. But guess what? Guess what he said next, Nate?
What's that?
Jim said, then why do you? You scatter this like you're fertilizing a field, Webb. Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh.
He's saying he's spreading BS.
Don't go there.
Yeah. The debate grows even more heated, and it goes on and on with Webb and, what's his face? What's it? Jim, Webb and Jim. Webb argues that killing a Bigfoot could conceivably...
Oh, have a drink, folks. We forgot to mention this G&D drinking game. We make a mistake. You take a drink.
You just made a mistake saying you take a drink.
I know.
Drink up, guys.
Drink up. Yeah, unless, of course, you're driving and listening to us. Then don't play the G&D drinking game. We won't pay your ticket.
Anyway, one of the guys from the audience stood up and screamed when debating killing Bigfoot or not.
The audience?
Yeah.
I thought they were out trying to kill Bigfoot.
They were at a town hall taking a meeting, taking some votes.
Okay.
Anyway, he said all you got to do is stand up, ask them to quit eating your chickens, and they will quit eating your chickens. Yeah. Anyway, that's the best we can do in the scientific community, guys. So that show's coming out February 4th on Destination America. What was the name of it? Did you get it? Killing Bigfoot.
Killing Bigfoot. Now, here's my question, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody goes out and shoots a Bigfoot,
Mm-hmm.
and Bigfoot does turn out to be an ape, which is considered to, and the Gigantopithecus is considered to be extinct.
Right.
Or, in most states you go to, Bigfoot is actually protected because if he exists, then he is in limited supply.
Yeah.
And therefore a endangered species.
Yeah.
Do you have to pay fines and face jail time if you kill an endangered species?
I would certainly think so. It's like the American
I would think
bald
so
eagle.
too.
Yeah, American
So
bald
I think
eagle.
I think this is a gimmick.
You think so? I don't know. Well, what do you do?
Hey.
If you see a monster man, like a wolf or something, if he's attacking your home and you got to kill, even if it's endangered, if it's attacking you.
Hey, I am a wildlife nuisance wildlife operator, and I can tell you the laws are really strict when it comes to killing animals.
That's right.
Hey, Sean, restaurant gives a $30.95 seen rat discount.
Seen rat?
Seen rat.
Oh, my God.
Apparently, a restaurant in Folsom, California,
Oh, no.
surprisingly enough, they did not give the name of the restaurant, Sean, has egg on its face after a bizarre customer experience was reported. It offended the customer who claimed to have seen a rat on the premises.
All right.
She didn't receive a free meal, just a $30.95 discount on her $116.80 bill, and a note on the receipt that said "seen rat" in all caps. Now, honestly, if I own a restaurant,
She was serious.
I'm giving the people a free meal and having them sign an agreement that they're not going to tell anybody.
Yeah.
It's the woman's friend, Jackie have a drink, folks.
Blah, blah, blah,
Logan.
blah. Yeah, that's a hard one.
Photographed the rat receipt and posted it on Facebook. Of course they did. That's why you don't put "seen rat" on the receipt. along with the following account of the incident.
Yeah.
To let others in the area know that dining there, what could happen.
Yeah.
The female dinner... Oh, sorry. Have a drink, folks. The female diner who has not been identified, well, then they shouldn't be posting anything.
No.
I'm sick and tired of people posting and keeping... I don't want to be known for this, but I saw this. Well, screw you. I don't believe you. Who has been identified... Who has not been identified, and who her friend wrote isn't on Facebook.
Right.
Everybody's on Facebook, please.
Everybody.
Was eating at... Oh, they do give the name, Sean. At Fat Allison's Bistro last Thursday.
Fat Albert, I think.
No, it's Alson.
Hey.
ASLAN. Fat Alson Bistro. Now everybody's going to say, that's not how you say that. I'm reading it phonetically, folks. Have a drink if you argue. last Thursday when she saw a rat run over her feet. Now, I would just like to point out, Sean, that right now in Paris, they are having a rat issue where rats are literally running over the feet of people in the restaurants.
Black Plague
time.
So
this is a bistro. It's a French restaurant. So they were just carrying on the tradition, which is currently going on in France.
Yeah.
This was just part of the ambiance.
Yeah.
These people just have to stop being upset about this sort of thing.
Yeah, I think so.
You see, I have a lot to say about this subject, and that's why I chose this story.
Yeah.
The woman noticed
liberals.
A server about the rat. Have a drink, folks. The woman notified a server about the rat.
Yeah.
But no manager came out to her table to apologize, according to the Facebook post.
Yeah.
Another couple in the restaurant apparently left.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see a rat, I would. Meanwhile, the server asked if anyone wanted dessert before bringing over the bill with a $30.95 discount.
I would like some ratatouille.
In her post, which has since been deleted but appears in a screenshot below.
Yes, attorney advised.
Logan said, I am sorry. I'm sorry, but does anyone else see a problem with this? If a rat joins you at dinner at a very well-known family restaurant in the area, at minimum, a manager should visit the table and comp my meal.
Yeah.
Not okay. Even at any restaurant. WTF. Now, as I said, folks, this is going on in France, and
where they have no pants,
and nobody's getting discounts for this in France. They're used to rats. Hasn't anybody watched Ratatouille?
I
mean, this just happens. But I will say, from the point of view of a person who works in wildlife and pest control,
rat specialist, if you will.
I actually have been recently promoted to rat specialist. The rats, at least in the Northeast right now, Sean, and I've been talking to other people in my field all over the country.
Nathan, rat specialist, the mob might be reaching out to you right now, bud.
Yeah, well, they've tried. But it's like an apocalypse out there with these freaking rats right now, man. They are everywhere, and I accounted to the bumper crop of nuts and seeds last autumn. Followed by the mild winter of 2016, the early spring of 2016, the drought of 2016, which rats need a lot of water. So, people constantly leave their taps running. They have air conditioners dripping condensation. They have plenty of water just lying around. The rats all move in close to the people. And then they had all season to breed because nobody wants to admit they have rats. So, they they breed out of control. Yeah. They can breed like every 23 days. So, this all occurs one right after another. And next thing you know, you have like rats everywhere. Yeah. And I have actually seen this, Sean, that there are rats in restaurants, in 10-inch rats being pulled out of the basements of $1 million homes. It's really just a rat apocalypse going on out there. So I feel for these people, I really do. But honestly, I do understand where they think that they should have gotten a free meal out of this. But honestly, if you continued eating, you get what you get.
Was that a turd in my stew?
At that point, when you saw that rat, if you didn't get up and walk out of that restaurant and refuse to pay, then take the $31 discount and walk and be happy because you were willing to keep eating after seeing a rat in that place. So screw you, I'm going home.
You sound fighting mad over this story, Nathan.
I was just excited to see a story that I actually know something about, Sean.
See what the Magic 8 Ball says something about this. Outlook
Thank you,
unclear.
Huffington Post. Okay, on to you, my friend.
Magic 8 Ball says outlook unclear, future unclear. If Nathan would be sued for his rat outrage rant live on air.
They kept eating. I don't care. You kept eating. If you had gotten up right then and said, I'm sick of, I saw a rat, I'm done.
Right.
They would not have charged you. You would have walked out uncharged. Yeah. But no, you kept eating, so you got a discount. Be happy, move on.
Yeah, you don't ask for 12 desserts for the kids in a to-go bag, FTC rant. Anyway, Nate, coming up here, I posted it all over our page this week, guys, and Chris in the chat room brought it up again, guys. I'm glad he did. Thanks, Chris. Another alleged Yeti sighting from our crazy Ruski cousins out in Russia. Did you hear about this? They put the video up, guys driving down a snow-covered road. Oh.
I did not hear about this.
Well, here we go. Every once in a while, an alleged Yeti sighting wanders in from the fringes of nature and into the hearts of internet users. Russia seems to be at the center of many of these abominable snowmen. Did I say that right? Abominable. I didn't, guys.
Abominable. Now you got me saying it wrong.
Abominable.
No, wait a minute. There's one way to try and remember this.
Yes.
Let's try and remember Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
That's what I was going to say. That's a mighty humble bumble. Oh, Yukon Cornelius. You're so silly.
I do have his beard and mustache.
Silver and gold.
Silver and gold.
That's a close. Remember, he goes, nothing. Anyway, Russia seems to be at the center of many of these abominable snowman
Have
instances.
a drink, folks.
Yeah. And yet, another has reared its ugly head, complete with creepy video. The elusive beast has been hunted by thrill seekers for centuries. So maybe these Russians are the first to finally catch this missing link on camera. Unlikely, but maybe. Anyway, in a wobbly video, imagine that, filmed in the Republic of, oh my God, guys, Bashkortostan, drink up. Some dudes just happened to be videotaping, Nathan, their hunt for the elusive beast as an ape-like creature skitters across their path. They were out hunting, and this ape-like creature skitters. I didn't know that was a word. Across their path. Honestly, it could just be a person in a heavy jacket trying to get out of the way of an approaching vehicle, but where's the whimsy in that? Well, big fat question mark. There are worse hobbies to have than searching out the elusive cousin of Bigfoot. So keep on keeping on, Yeti Seekers. 2016 has been one heck of a year. So why not buy into the legend? Wait, I'm sorry. 2017 has been one heck of a year thus far. So why not buy in to the legend
Take two
of the
drinks
Yeti?
for that one, folks.
Yeah, I got the year wrong. That never happened. Anyway, Nate, you guys got to check it out. It's on our Facebook page. I don't think we have it up on the website yet, but check us out at Ghostman and Demon Hunter on Facebook. It will come up. We got that up there. It looks kind of convincing. I don't think it's a guy in a black jacket, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm honestly thinking of starting to sell Bigfoot cameras, Sean.
Really?
I'm going to build them with a stand so that people can set them down and film for Bigfoot, but I'm going to put them on like a swivel so that they keep being wobbly. Because you can't have a clear image of Bigfoot. Honestly, we've all pretty much just decided that Bigfoot is just blurry.
Yeah.
I think it's because he is a multiple dimensional creature,
Interdimensional,
and
yeah.
as he's traveling through dimensions, he becomes blurry, so you can never get a clear picture of him. But I was just thinking, Sean, you and I are not politically correct people.
You don't think so?
I don't think we're politically correct people. And you remember we were out filming one day, and I made a comment, and everybody's jaw just hit the ground because I made a comment because I was referring to a character in a book, and when we were filming, and I named the character by the character in the book, and everybody looked at me and said, "You can't say that." I was like, "It's the character in the book." But I also remember this that recently I went into a store to purchase. You and I are both into like old-timey instruments.
Yeah.
You enjoy the banjo. I like Zydeco music with the washboard and all this stuff. And I went into a music store and I asked them if they sold Jew harps. And you would have thought that I had just walked in a full Nazi uniform and like said, looked at him and said, "Where are the showers?" It's and honestly, that's what it's always been called to me. Do you know what one is, Sean?
No, what?
It's a little metal mouth-held music instrument that you hold in your mouth and twang the end of it, and it causes it creates a single note.
Yeah,
and it's basically a kind of like bass instrument that you play in your mouth.
It's called a Jew flute.
Apparently, I have found out that they said, "Oh, you mean a mouth harp?" And I said, "No, a mouth harp is a harmonica." I'm looking for one of these. And so we finally agreed on the term jaw harp.
Jaw harp. Okay.
I had to find a politically correct way to ask for this instrument while I was shopping for it. And honestly, I looked it up online and showed them. I pointed to them like, it is referred to as a Jew harp because it was commonly used by Jewish citizens in Russia. And that's what it was. And that's why it was referred to as that. It was not a derogatory statement.
That's
and they were
right.
like, oh, okay. Then they were willing to let me buy something from them. But
so nice of them.
But anyway. This is not in any way a rant against political correctness, folks. It's just a rant against the fact that people are jumping to the immediate conclusion that if you say something that they're not used to, you're a racist. Yeah. And that particular incident happened to me this week, and that's why I brought it up. But you would think the people in a music store would have known what the heck I was talking about. So
why is it wrong to say Jew, but you can say Irish?
Well, especially since you know what? Let's not even get into it. We'll get hate mail. But I'm gonna go ask my buddy Adam Zuckerman. I'm like, can I say Jew harp? And he's gonna look at me and say, sure. But
you can say Jew, Russian, Irish, Polish. I don't.
If I had called it a Jewish harp, would it have been okay?
I think maybe, probably acceptable. Anyway, Nate, there was something that came up in the news this week again, and I had heard about this, guys. Shadow Nation, I'd heard about this before, and Nathan, you tell me if you have. U.S. Special Forces allegedly, and this has been a while. It was back in 2016. They killed a giant, a biblical-sized giant, 12 foot in height, in Afghanistan. Did you hear anything about this?
I have only heard the bare minimum about it, Sean, and I'm actually interested in what you heard because you've actually followed up on it.
Well, it came out in the news again this week. One of our fraternal radio shows out there, in host had one of the alleged Special Forces person on. They had the whole blacked out face and the voice changing device on him. But, I found this website. It says several conspiracy theory oriented websites are claiming a biblical giant with flaming red hair was killed by U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan in 2016.
Well, this would have been approximately the same area that David fought Goliath in. So.
Well, yeah, and the claim is United States Special Forces killed a giant in Kandahar in 2002. That was the first one, and then again in 2016. And the government's trying to cover it up. Okay, we don't know anything about that.
Somebody actually sent me a clip of the video, Sean, and I don't think it was real because in the middle of it he said, "It's not my fault. I'm the biggest and the strongest. I don't even exercise." So I was like, I think this is a fake. Yeah. I think this is a clip from Princess Bride. But,
it was Oliver. It was Oliver. Yeah. You can't kill Oliver. Anyway, that was a good remake by Jack Black. What was it here? Anyway, they reached out to the Department of Defense and they got a hold of a spokesman. And what they had said is, we do not have any record or information about a Special Forces member killing a giant in Kandahar. Imagine that. Anyway, current interest in the story appears to have been generated from a video recently released by L.A. Marzulli. Drink up, guys, just in case, but I think we've heard that name before. He's an author, a blogger, and a filmmaker determined to link modern times with biblical creatures and prophecies. Anyway, on August 13th of August 2016 was when this video first came back out. He posted an episode on YouTube of his series Watchers. Apparently has a series, guys, on YouTube called Watchers, in which he claims to interview a military contractor. You need to look it up, guys. Or a soldier who witnessed the blade-wielding giant of Kandahar kill another soldier before being downed by troops, whisked away by a transport aircraft, and hidden away from public view. Marzulli makes the case that the giant, Nathan, was a Nephilim. We know something about that. We had Fritz Zimmerman came on. He wrote the book on Nephilim, which were described in the book of Genesis as offspring of gods and human women who inhabited...
Angels and human women.
Yeah, it says right here, book of Genesis and offspring of gods and human women. But but you're right.
But
That's how they
in Genesis itself, it says, "Why have the sons of God lain with the daughters of men?"
Lain. got laid. But okay, who inhabited Canaan at the time of Israelite conquest? But when it comes down to the details, he's vague, saying he interviewed the unnamed man and at an undisclosed location on an unknown date. The interviewee, who he claims shot and killed the giant, doesn't give any details on the location of the alleged incident, other than that, to say it was a remote location in Afghanistan in '02. He claims he and others were sent in to look for a missing patrol when they saw a scarlet-haired giant emerge from a cave and skewer his friend, who he called Dan, with a large blade. If the Army's statement isn't sufficient, the only service member...
What kind of name is Dan with a large blade?
Dan, he skewered him with a large blade.
Oh, okay.
If the Army statement isn't sufficient, the only service member with the first name Dan or Daniel who died in Kandahar in 2002 was killed along with 3 others in an accident involving the clearing and disposal of explosives. They looked that up. There are no incidents on the Department of Defense press release page in which all military casualties were listed. Involving a giant, likewise, there are no reports of an entire patrol disappearing in Afghanistan. Anyway,
sounds like a cover-up to me.
Yeah. Well, think about it. If they did see giants over there, why would it be hard to believe the U.S. military is not disclosing it on their website? Jesus, man. Hey, this is a conspiracy that the government's trying to hide.
They are disclosing it, Sean, but it's only in Spanish, and it has been wiped off the White House website.
We cannot confirm nor deny the existence of aliens, but if you go to our website, we'll tell you all about it. Jesus, man. These people, but you don't know, guys. Look that up and go to our Facebook page and post something on there if you guys find anything about this giant, because I'm intrigued. I'm going to be looking into this. People have had hair and things that they said they've gotten from giants, footprints. Maybe this is like an Afghanistan Sasquatch kind of thing now. Maybe it's going around. I don't know. Anyway, Nathan, we're running out of time, man.
You know who's waiting in the green room right now, Sean?
No, who is he? I see his hair. I can only see the top of his head.
He has hair?
Yeah, very short if he does. Anyway, guys, tonight's guest out in the Greenwood right now. Out in the green room right now. Tonight's guest for years has brought thrills and chills to both your television and the silver screen. Best known for his epic work on American Horror Story, I'm Legend, the Diabolical, and of course the Netflix smash hit Stranger Things. Tonight, Mr. Mark Steger, the Demogorgon from Stranger Things, is going to be right here. If he stops drinking our free soda out in the green room, we'll get him to come in.
I think he's in my seltzer.
Hey, that was on the top shelf. Marked Nathan, clearly. Anyway, no respect. Anyway.
We're careful with that seltzer, man. I kind of mix it during the show.
Hey, remember, you got to remember tonight, don't let me forget, or you don't forget, we got to try to get from Mr. Steger some information about this next coming season. Because we always get in the studio and we forget totally about what we're going to ask.
I'm hoping his attitude has changed since I saw him last year, because I was like, when is Stranger Things coming back? He's like, I'm not allowed to say.
I don't know. Let me look at
At that point, we were still wondering if it was coming back.
Yeah. Let me look at my contract first. That's hard, though. We've had contracts before. It's hard.
Our contracts were so, tightly wrapped around our throats that we couldn't speak about anything.
Couldn't even freaking breathe. Couldn't even acknowledge that we had a project. Anyway, each week, guys, on this show, we play an independent band during the break. One we know, we love. We support the little man, right, Nate?
We try.
Yeah. This artist this week's name is Jeremy Wallace. I think we played some of his stuff in the past. Name of the song, Death Letter Blues. Thought that was fitting. Anyway, Shadow Nation.
Good to me.
Yeah, Shadow Nation. Demon Hunter.
Ghostman.
We'll be right back with Mark Steger from Stranger Things.
It said, stop your crime. Crying ain't gonna bring your baby back. When I wrote back there, out of dress in white and red. Yes, I wrote back a letter, dressed in white and red. It said, come back, Papa. Your baby lying dead. When I went to the depot, I just bowed my head and I cried. Yes, I went to the depot. I just bowed my head and I cried. It seems a train named Saul. That's the only train I've been to ride. Well, you never miss your water until the well run dry. Yes, you never miss your water until the well run dry. Yes, you never miss your good gal till she shake your hand goodbye.
Hey, Shadow Nation, this is Tyler Main, Michael Myers from Rob Zombie's Halloween. You're listening to the Ghost Man and the Demon Hunter.
Hey, welcome back, Shadow Nation. Tonight's guest for years has brought thrills and chills to both your television and the silver screen. Best known for his epic works on American Horror Story, I Am Legend, The Diabolical, and of course the Netflix smash hit Stranger Things. Tonight, Mr. Mark Steger is in studio. Mark, so what's going on, buddy?
Hey, Ghost Man, Demon Hunter, Shadow Nation.
We got it all, baby. We got it all.
Yeah.
You know, I want to...
Yeah, things are good. Things are good. What's up with you guys?
You're packing up, right? You're getting ready to move.
I am indeed, yeah. It's a little bit of a process. I got a lot of, right now I'm out in my little garage studio where I do a bunch of animation and drawing. And I got stuff from since I was 4 years old, and that was a long time ago.
Right. And as I was mentioning before the show, an actor, a star of your caliber could pay somebody to do the moving.
Yeah, well, there's some personal stuff, and there's a lot of little things. I don't know, little memorabilia things. You kind of want to. A lot of it, I find when I move that there's a lot of sort of reviewing, your history a little bit, especially, some of the work that I've done, some of the, looking for old drawings and.
Mark, you're not a hoarder, are you? You're not we're not going to see you.
Oh, no.
There's a TV show for that, Mark.
The only thing I actually kind of hang on to are things like old drawings and photos and things like that. I otherwise I'm kind of an aesthetic. I like minimal, very minimal space. I like things I like not many things around me.
Right.
But yeah, I kind of like quieter spaces, visually quieter things. So.
Now,
there's such a mess in my brain,
But it's your artwork, correct? Because when I met you at Connecticut HorrorCon, you were showing your artwork.
Yeah, was I? What was I showing? I think I had. I probably had. I had a catalog for my old group, Osseous Labyrinth, which was a performing company that I worked with. I was co-director and performer in that. Worked with them for about 17 years. We toured all over the world, performing in unusual environments like castle ruins and ships and treetops. And I was interested in evolutionary transformation and the history of the body. And we did it, performed completely naked and these crazy things with our bodies. And I did it for about 17 years. Yeah, and that was my main gig for quite a while, up until around 2007, I believe.
Yeah.
And a lot of adventures with that. There was some pretty amazing stuff, and that sort of led me into doing film work when I moved to LA in 1995. I was still primarily doing the live work, but over time I met people, and as you do, and a lot of being in the film industry is just about your relationships. In film and television, it's like people people you meet. One of the big connections I made here was through Adam Jones, who is he's the I don't know if you're familiar with the band Tool. He's the guitarist.
Oh yeah.
And also the visual mastermind of that group, and he directs all the music videos. And he saw our work and wanted us to work with them. And we did the Schism video. From their latter album, and then we went on tour. We did the first Coachella festival with them.
Ooh.
And then we did a tour, like a 50-city North American tour, and then we toured Australia and New Zealand with them, and that was a blast.
So you were like a artistic, epic roadie that actually you got to travel everywhere, man.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, they're cool cats, and it was it was an interesting adventure. It's like I performed quite a bit and unusual, all over the world in these strange environments. But then, one of the strangest was being in in an arena or like Madison Square Garden in front of 15,000 people, and just hearing that sound.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. Yeah, that was a good time.
So you're 4 years old. You're 4 years old. You're sitting on the floor, Saturday morning cartoons or whatnot, and you're coloring. You're an artist. You started out, you said, early on, so 4 years old. What point did you become a big, scary, freaky monster or want to?
Well, I think that was always kind of with me. When I was, I grew up watching old Hollywood, horror and science fiction films, going back to that's not how old I am, but, I remember watching the classic Universal horror films, going way back, and, up through contemporary stuff. And I also was I was a big Murray Harryhausen fan, Willis O'Brien fan, so I did a lot of stop motion animation. I made little creatures, and then I would animate them. I also did drawn animation, and one of the I would use my own body as a model. I'd use myself as a model, and I would I'd stand in front of the mirror and basically act out the moves, the behavior that I was going to give to this little model character that I made, the armature, little sculpted creature that I had made. And I would count out the seconds, so I knew how to. So I think about I have to break it. 24 frames. I was shooting Super 8, so it was 24 frames per second. So I would break down the movements into seconds, and then so 24. There's 24 frames in a second, so you're looking at fractions of a second. You shoot usually two frames per per move. You know, you move the creature and you shoot 2 frames, and you move the creature a little more and shoot 2 frames.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, basically, you know, I acted the character out, and then I, you know, would animate it, and there was a lot of creature stuff.
So while the rest of us were playing with our G.I. Joes in the bathtub, you were doing stop motion animation. I feel better about my childhood, Nathan. I feel better.
Yeah, I was playing with dolls, basically, you know.
I was too.
My parents wouldn't give me a stop animation camera.
I was going to say, we all grew up in the late 60s, 70s here. Were you rich, Mark? I didn't even know what a VCR or a camcorder was.
Well, there weren't VCRs or camcorders when I was a kid, and you know, Super 8 cameras, and my first camera was Standard 8. It wasn't even Super 8, and it was just some old clunker that was laying around. I don't even know if my parents bought it. It was probably like, you know, an heirloom or something. And they were as available as, you know, that was the standard, that was like, you know, the amateur standard at the time. They're as available as, you know, cell phones. Well, not as available as that, but, you know, as
yeah,
you know, small video cameras are now. You know, and it's just like, you know, you would shoot, you know, a 50-foot roll of Super 8, and you take it to the photomat, you know, which is these little kiosks that would be in the drive-in of some, you know, shopping center or something, and you drop it off, and you leave it for them to process, and you go back like 2 days later to pick it up, and it's very different than shooting video, where you see it immediately, you see what you're doing,
Brother.
And, you know, especially if you're doing animation, you know, because it's just, you know, you're shooting frames and you can't look at it right away. You take it to the lab, you get it back a couple days later, and then you spool it in your clunky little projector, and you show it on your wall. You look at it on your wall, and it's like magic. You know, it's kind of like, because you don't know if anything's going to come out. You know, it's really, it's a different experience. It's really, and all the decisions. You know, I've known a lot. I know a lot of people who worked in film before digital became standard. You know, and they talk about how, you know, you have to be more deliberate. You had to be more deliberate about your decisions, because you couldn't look at it right away and just, you know, it's not like, you know, digital where you can just shoot and shoot and shoot. You know, the film was expensive. You had a limited amount of it. You had a limited amount of time, and, you know, it was totally different. You know, not totally different, but a very different way of working.
You couldn't rewind and record over it, just hit delete.
No, you can't. No, you couldn't. No, you know, you end up with what you get, you know, and you know, it's a tool. Obviously, it's just a tool ultimately, and it's what you end up doing with the tool is what's important. But it was an interesting. I'm glad I was able to experience that.
Yeah,
that way of working, because I have a video camera now, and I shoot that way primarily. But it was, you know, those old technologies are just interesting, and I still actually recently bought a Super 8 camera to play around with.
So would you say playing around the house, we all played monsters and stuff. Would you say that started there, you know, creeping around? And
Oh yeah. It was, I mean, it was, you know, it's really, I feel like in some sense I found, you know, continuity between my childhood and my adult life, and that I'm doing these things that I used to love doing, you know, as a kid, except on this grand scale, you know, and you're collaborating with these other amazing artists who are, you know, kind of feel, you know, doing the same sort of thing. Especially something like Stranger Things, where, you know, the Duffer Brothers, when I first went to meet them, they were talking about how they used to do animated films. They did theirs on video, like old video cameras. But, you know, it was a similar thing. It's, you know, it's just something, you know, it's something you have a passion for, and, you know, you continue to do it. It's you know, I feel very fortunate in that way that I'm able to do these things, and work with, you know, so many other amazing artists. It's really, you know, I'm very honored and fortunate.
You get to play every day. Yeah, who wouldn't like
that?
that?
Well, that's, you don't get to play every day. No. There's a tremendous amount of work involved. You know,
and some days you have to pack your house up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some days you have to pack your house up and think about the next job.
Come on, Mark, let me live through you. I'm living through you here. Let me have my dream.
Yeah, no, it's all gravy, man. It's like, I just kick back every day and I'll have a cocktail and then
scare some people.
The next just walk over to the stage and do my thing and then get a massage and there's nothing to it.
You gotta love it.
It's funny because Sean and I did some TV and we remember what it's like to be pushing for the 12-hour shoots and then be sitting there hearing the producers say, should we try to keep shooting? Do we have enough light? And you're just sitting there going, no, please, I gotta go to bed.
12 hours?
Yeah.
That's all?
Yeah. Well, 12 hours. 12 hours.
You guys are wimps.
12 hours. 12 hours was when it went to overtime. So then the producers had to debate whether or not they were going to keep the crew on. And you'd wait for 30 minutes, and they'd always come back and say, we're going to keep shooting. And you're just going, no.
Yeah.
But we did a ghost show, man, in some old asbestos-filled buildings at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. with sweat rolling down our pants and our chest and backs. And they're going, cut, cut.
What kind of stuff were you guys doing on set?
It was Extreme Paranormal. That was the name of it. It was on A&E, so it was a run-and-gun type ghost hunting show. It was based on our show that we do here, but they kind of cut out the Hollywood celebs we have on, and they had the strange and weird, and we went to places and tried to find out if there was any truth. And instead of running around going, what was that, what we would do is ceremonies. Nathan is a occult specialist, and he would do these ceremonies to see, if something's here, let's make it happen. And, it just doesn't work well for TV to make, the devil. You got to have the extra, in there, like Satan showing up or something. And he just doesn't want to work, for Hollywood. So
he won't sign contracts unless it includes a soul. And
we don't get royalties.
Well,
so
that happens all the time, though. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
What? Can I? I'm intrigued now. Can I find any of these online anywhere? These episodes? Or?
You can, but please don't read the remarks underneath because people hated our guts.
Oh.
I think.
I'm even more intrigued.
Just go to YouTube and type in Extreme Paranormal and look for the A&E TV shows, and you'll find them.
They didn't all hate us. Extreme Paranormal.
No, they didn't all hate us, but I mean, a lot of them. we were doing things that people said that you just weren't supposed to. The funny thing is, we announced we were going to do a TV show. And we said, we're going to do stuff that everybody's told you you're never supposed to do. And everybody clamored to watch. And then they said, they're doing stuff they're not supposed to do. And they all got mad at us.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's a good thing, Mark. When was the first time? Because you've done 1,000 things. I can't go through all of them because you've done epic work. When was the first time you went on set in costume and they said, scare us, Mark? What was the first time experience?
That's. I think I'd have to look at
IMDb.
Yeah. Well. I mean, because I don't. There's no. It's like it's all kind of one thing, like my life, the work that I've done over the performance stuff I used to do was pretty scary, sometimes. And that wasn't of my own making. And, and like I was trying to make scary films when I was younger, but then like the first, I think you're asking more like, what's your first big sort of,
your big breakout
Hollywood kind of hoo-ha. How long do you have here?
Hold on 1 second, Mark. Go ahead there. What was Mark's first?
Being a big scary thing was probably I Am Legend.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that was I was actually a movement director, choreographer on that. As well as I performed in a little bit. More of my work was behind the scenes, but I'd say that was probably the first one that where it was like that was my main thing, was to be scary.
epic. Everybody knows I Am
be
Legend.
creepy, scary. There was actually we did like a 2-month boot camp with all the performers before they actually started shooting, and created a lot of stuff, a lot of really cool stuff that never ended up being, it never ended up even shooting because the director never even saw a lot of it. So I have a sort of this backlog of behavior and movement vocabulary from that I sometimes I pull it up for other things. But a lot of it's related to it all kind of goes back to the live stuff I was doing, because a lot of it was very animalistic, and I was interested in like I said, the history of the body, and junk DNA, dormant DNA, where like places we've come from, like other forms that the body used to take.
And that's how you ended up being the chupacabra.
The chupacabra, yeah, that was the chupacabra came because I did all these other things, I mean, it's really continuum. It's like somebody sees you in this thing, and they call their friend who they know worked, did the makeup for that, and they say, hey, is that weirdo available, to go to Panama for a couple months?
That nut job.
And try and kill himself in the jungle, which is sort of what we were doing on that one. The first night of you're talking about Indigenous, right?
Yeah.
The first night of shooting that, it was crazy. They were shooting infrared, so there wasn't actually any light to work with, and we were in the jungle, and when I first the makeup artist on that is David Anderson, who's he's done a lot of stuff you've seen. He's won a couple Academy Awards and Emmys. Most recently, he was doing makeup for American Horror Story. But he and I were down there and getting made up, and because they were shooting infrared, they had no lights. They weren't lighting up the jungle at all. There was just there's this one character who had a flashlight who was running. These 3 kids who were running through the forest, and I was supposed to pick off one of them. I was just supposed to jump and pick off one of them.
Yeah.
I couldn't even see. Nobody could see. And I thought, when Dave, first proposed the thing, he was like, hey, you want to go to Panama and work for a couple months? And I imagined the jungle, just covered in moss, soft moss.
Yeah.
Just being very, very,
Wrong.
very pleasant and erotic, and just kind of sort of very forgiving, when you hit it. But everything that, first of all, there's no moss on the ground. There's rocks, and everything there, all the life in the jungle, has a defense against things that are much tougher than human beings. You back into something and it would have huge thorns, and it was really intense. And
You're basically walking into the planet from After Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're walking in. It's like you're walking into this thing that doesn't want you there, and
Yeah.
just wants, just wants to kill you.
So this is a place
where
where
it was incredibly beautiful. I mean, it was just it was really remarkable. This place where we shot.
The place where that place scares the monster, it's a bad situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was just a crazy shoot in any case, but it was the first. I went that first night. I had learned a couple lessons. I had a huge contusion on my thigh from hitting a big rock during the first take. So, I was a little more cautious after that, and, told the producers they had to clear rocks from the ground. People were going to fall. That was my Panama adventure.
Well, Marky, let's talk about this little project that came out of left field and kind of blew the world away called Stranger Things, huh? Yeah.
Stranger.
The Demogorgon. I mean, people.
I heard about that somewhere, Sean.
Yeah, well, people didn't. It was like E.T. meets X-Files meets et cetera on
Oh,
crack.
yeah. I remember that one. Yeah.
See, I didn't see the title page when it came up, and I thought I was watching a new version of the Goonies.
Oh, yeah.
So
It had it all, man. It had it all.
Yeah.
And, of course, Mark pops out there as the Demogorgon, and people are going, what is this? What am I looking at? But I wanted to get into, I know about the Duffer Brothers. How did it work? Did you have to audition? They just call you on the phone and say, Marky, you got to come in. We got a project for you. How'd it happen?
I don't remember exactly who called me initially, but it was hey, you have a meeting with these directors, these two brothers who are directing this TV show, this Netflix show, which I guess isn't technically TV.
It's better.
It is for 6 million college students who can't afford cable.
It is if you're watching it on TV. What was I saying? So anyway, I went and met them at the casting director Carmen Cuba's office, and we just had a conversation. And they showed me designs of the creature that were done by Aaron Sims with the Aaron Sims Company, who's done. Yeah, actually somebody I've known for a while. I worked with him. I actually met him on I Legend. He did the designs for that, and this incredible design. And we talked about. They talked. They didn't talk too much about. They didn't really say much about the story. They talked a little bit about the creature. Yeah. But it was very. There was nothing was a done deal yet. They were just seeing who was out there who could play this character, and we talked a little bit about influences, and it was great. It was a good felt like a good connection, and a couple days later. I was told that I'd be working on this show, and I read the scripts, and the scripts were terrific. It's often you can tell how a project's going to go when you read the script, and this was actually fun to read, which isn't always the case. A lot of times the script is very schematic, and more than anything, it depends on who's behind the camera, or not just who's behind the camera, the people who are making it.
Yeah.
In front and behind, but it certainly helps to have a good script.
Stranger Things, you had said in past interviews, of course, had a younger cast, and apparently you had to bargain with some of them just to work with you in full costume. Tell us about that. They were scared of you.
Oh, well, the littlest one was scared of me. She was, how old was she?
He was young.
Like 2 years old, or so 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And she was a little put off by me in the full costume, and took some getting used to. And but all the people around her were they took their time with her, and we let her see me outside of the costume, get out of the costume. But when you're 2 years old, something like that is kind of mind blowing, and I don't know if she ever saw me in the full thing with the animatronic head, right. But she saw me with the big long arms and on the stilts and this weird pinkish gray skin.
Now, are you going to help pay for her psychiatrist in later days, or does the production company pick that up? How's it?
That's interesting. It'd be interesting to track her development over the years, right? To check in with her once in a while.
Yeah,
she's going to be coming to you in 15 years, going, "If I wear the costume like this, will I be scarier?" You're going to set her down that road, man. You're going to set her down that road.
She's either going to be, it's going to be lots of piercings and tattoos, or she's going to, work a Wall Street job or something, or maybe both. Maybe
big
but
tattoo.
She will never sleep with the lights off again.
Yes,
yeah,
the Demogorgon.
Well, she got used to it. It happens. This happens, from time to time. Where I work with kids. I work with this director, Nicholas McCarthy, from time to time. don't know if you've ever seen The Pact or At the Devil's Door, or Holidays. There's an anthology film called Holidays, and then we did a short in that called Easter. But I worked with this young lady named Eva Akers, and the first time I met her, Nick came back to talk to me. I was in full devil makeup, like really great makeup that Jason Collins did, Autonomous Effects did for this character, and Nick came back and said, "Okay, so I'm going to bring Eva back to meet you, and just act normal, don't really want to frighten her." So anyway, a couple minutes later, he walks back with her. She sees me. She cracks the biggest grin. She was just delighted, and I think we don't. Obviously, if the child is really, really young, like a couple of years young, I think they're more likely to be frightened. But once the kid is, I think Eva was 6 maybe at that time. They've been exposed to quite a bit, and they're also into. A lot of them are really into this kind of stuff. So it's more of a, it's more of a delight for them to be involved in something like that than scary. But yeah, it's fun to work with kids. Obviously, in Stranger Things, I worked with a lot of kids, and they were all terrific. Yeah, they were, they kind of made the show.
Well, and every day. I mean, I remember meeting you at the conference, and everybody was saying, trying to get information from you. Was Stranger Things coming back? And at that point, you couldn't even answer. And now every day, there's a new website coming out going new plot details.
Yeah, and you know how much you can trust the internet, right?
That's right. I trust everything.
Yeah, I think that was where I met you too. That con in Connecticut. That was the first one of those I've ever done. My agent's been talking to me about doing those for a while, but after Stranger Things, she's like, okay, you got to try this. You can probably tell by my booth that I was an amateur, because I think I had like 2 photos and a t-shirt or something.
Not anymore, my friend. You're a legend now.
Around, I was like, I guess okay, yeah, this goes.
Seen your model. There's actually dolls about the Demogorgon out. Have you seen these?
Oh no, I haven't seen them.
You have to. They're either.
I haven't.
Huh?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You have to Google it or something. I seen it out at the store. It's either a design for a new product for Stranger Things, but it had you on the back, and it had a design of what it's going to look like. I haven't seen it in stores yet. I just seen it online of what it's going to look like. It's got you with your mouth open, spread out, looking like the plant.
Yeah, I saw what looked like a design sometime. I guess it was sometime last year. It must have been sometime last year, because the show just came out last year. Right. But I saw what looked like a design for the demo. It was kind of like a toy. I mean, it was sort of a, like more like an infant toy. It's very, it wasn't really real, it didn't look that much like, it was obviously the Demogorgon, but it wasn't, the scary Demogorgon. It was kind of like a cartoon version of it. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think it was, but they were also talking like a sideshow collectible, which is more the adult collectibles, Star Wars, scary movies, and they're talking about that. That's definitely going to happen, is what they're saying online, which what you said before.
Oh, I'm sure.
Trust everything.
Of course I'm sure they're going to. I'm sure they'll do that at some point.
Okay, so we can confirm the return of Stranger Things. Can we confirm when?
It'll be around the same time as the first one, sometime in the summer.
Okay. Yeah. I know we had Mark Harbour on.
That's all I know. I can't speak about. Obviously I can't speak about this.
Watch the phone go dead now. Mark's time is now up.
I told them they weren't allowed to ask that question.
Yeah, what's going to happen, fellas, is you're going to get a knock on the door.
I know. Yeah, for some big studio corporate attorney. Yeah.
No, it's going to be a couple thugs, actually.
Dressed as the Demogorgon.
We've had the Men in Black show up at our house. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, Nathan has true story. Yeah. No, we had a guy come on, Mark, about Skinwalker Ranch. You ever heard about it?
Skinwalker Ranch?
Oh my God, you got to, because this is, you basically do these characters that are supposed to be real. You do them on TV and at the movies. But Skinwalker is a Native American belief, basically like a werewolf, shapeshifter type thing. Huh?
Yeah, actually, now when you said Native American, I made the connection. Yes, I have that I have heard of. Yeah.
Well, Robert Bigelow from Aerospace, the billionaire real estate agent guy, he bought up all these properties like Skinwalker, everything else. He keeps people off of them, secret, and this is all true. You can look it up. And we had one of the researchers come on that had slept out there and stuff, and he swears to God, hand on the Bible, that he's seen some of these things, and it's just weird. You gotta check it out, man. And then after that, Nathan had a visit from. Go ahead, Nate. Tell Mark.
Yeah, I like literally. I'm a Mason, and I went to my lodge, and as I'm like walking around the lodge trying to do some stuff, all of a sudden these two people. The ranch is in Utah, so I'm like walking around, and these two people in black suits walk up, and they start asking me questions. I'm like, "Who are you? Where are you from?" They're like, "Oh, we're from Utah." We're just like, okay.
Well, they're in black suits. Well, you sure they weren't just LDS?
I considered that. I didn't see any full body underwear lines.
Yeah.
So
Bad acid trip. That's what it was.
Utah's got some secrets up there.
Hey man.
Yeah,
they do.
It's an amazing place. Wow, that's so. Is there anything more you can tell me about that experience?
It was weird because it happened for like a few days in a row. A black car pulled up to my house, knocked on the door. Somebody got back in and drove away. I was like, what the heck is going on?
And then I was driving to work, and a weird-shaped cloud was over top of me. I took pictures. I'm not nuts here. I took pictures of it. Of course, it's on the internet. Look it up. Had to be a UFO. Why are you grimacing at my comment? But you're listening to your Nathan.
We don't even have to see your face, Mark. We can see your grimacing.
I can
at us.
feel it. You're grimacing.
But I have to ask you one question, Mark, and it's not a Stranger Things question, but my wife will kill me if I don't ask it for you, because you were in Paranormal Activity, the Ghost Dimension, and you played Toby. Mm-hmm. So I have to ask this question. What the hell happens at the end? I was trying to is the child in the past? Is it does Toby grow up to be her dad? I don't understand.
Well, let me put it this way. I don't know, because I haven't actually seen the movie yet. And they shouldn't give me any information when I was shooting it. So.
They said just walk out there.
I tell her what. I'm sorry. What's her name?
Chrissy. My wife's name is Chrissy.
Tell Chrissy that I apologize, but I can't shine any light on that ending. I walk off with a little girl, right?
Yeah. Yep.
He's looking through his contract right now. Can I say something about this?
Well, at this point, it doesn't matter. I don't think they're going to do anymore. But.
No, you were the grand finale, sir. You were the end of the Paranormal Activity series.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, it was, huh? Yeah.
You put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. Well, I think I take her as my disciple or something. That seems to be what goes on there at the end, or. She's one of me, I think. I don't know. I don't really know. Honestly,
you have to.
I'm gonna stop there.
Okay.
I was about to show you guys how ignorant I am of the whole mythos of that particular series. But anyway, next question.
Your Honor, I'd like to strike that from the record. No, Mark. I know we kept you over. We got Comic-Con coming up here soon, and is there any inside information you can give to us that we can clip and play for thousands of people at Comic-Con about Stranger Things or anything that might be coming up? Any inside exclusive, not top secret, but did your costume itch? What parts itched? Stuff you've never told anyone.
Well, that's What parts itch? Oh,
Well, where do you see out?
The real issue is when the parts itch, you can't scratch them. No, it's actually a really the folks who put that suit together, Spectromotion, did an amazing job. It was the most complex suit I've ever worked in, but at the same time, it's one of the more comfortable ones because they really took a lot of care in developing it, and we go in and tried different parts of it on as they were developing it, creating it's a big process. They do a full body cast of you, and then they make a positive from that, and they start sculpting on that, and they run the suit and foam latex, and then there's like all this incredible engineering that has to go into the animatronic parts.
Right.
The head itself, which was engineered by Mark Strakian. He did the animatronics for it. Is remarkable. I'm hoping that will hit the road at some point, so people can see that in action live, because it's a real thing. It's really remarkable, and you don't really see it do that much in the show.
Right.
But the how it's so incredibly articulate, and the kind of the moves that he programmed into it were really remarkable. I can't say enough about those guys. They're just such incredible artists and technicians over there.
Now, when the mouth opens up, right? Big scene in Stranger Things. The mouth spreads open. You see the inside, the teeth and stuff. Do you control that, or is it offset? They're controlling the animatronics, right?
That's remote controlled.
Okay.
Yeah, and that when the head was controlled by Mark Strakian, the gentleman who works for Spectromotion, Michael Elizalde's outfit here in Glendale, and he was the one who was operating that, and he programmed all the moves into it.
How do you know when the mouth opens up when you're inside there? Because you can't see very good. You can't. There's no way. How do you know?
When it opens up, is when I can see.
Oh, okay.
That's how I know it's open. I was like, I can see.
Now I'm going to start acting scarier.
Yeah, well, there would be little gaps, that I could see through, because it was always active when I had it on.
Right.
It was always undulating a little bit, so I could see through it. And actually, I could see better than when I had the stunt head on. Mm-hmm. The stunt head was just closed all the time, and there was a couple little slots I could see through. But it actually wasn't bad. What I couldn't do when the animatronic head was on was here, because once the motors were all firing, I think there were like 23 motors that were controlling it. So I had a pack of servo motors on my back, and battery packs slung under my arms. And when that was all firing, it was pretty loud in there.
Good thing you didn't step in any water puddles or anything.
It's kind of like sharing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was actually in a bit. When that one big scene.
You were in the tank. Yeah.
Yeah, in the upside down. It's the big black void.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big pool of water. It was like about 3-inch deep pool of water.
Oh yeah, that was amazing
on the set.
Well, you've done so many amazing things, Mark, and we love you, and we could talk to you all night. But what's coming up soon for you, and how can our listeners follow you and find out more about you?
You can follow me. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. Okay. I'm relatively new to those things, so there's not a whole lot on there yet.
The tweeter.
And you can check me out at marksteger.net, not .com, .net. Mm-hmm. Some gentleman in Texas named Mark Steger has a little blog that he does. Seems like a cool cat. But you can look on there, and I'm going to put up a news page soon that'll talk about things I have coming up. I have some projects in the works, a couple of things. I have something in February I'm doing that I can't. A lot of the stuff I can't really talk about.
Right.
They make you sign. They make you sign.
That's right. Attorneys are listening right now.
Nefarious contracts when we get involved in these things. So, a lot of it's very hush hush. But
just Mark, when they ask you to sign in blood, stay away from those contracts.
Yeah,
we learned the hard way.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. You guys send me one of those?
Yeah, we did. Come on the show tonight. Now we own your show. Anyway, Mark, thanks so much for coming on. Nathan, do you have anything else for Mark Steger?
I'm still reeling over the fact that there's no determined end to paranormal activity.
We got to live with it.
Mark, they'll probably at some point somebody will get in their heads and say, "Hey, what about that sphere? Why don't we reboot that one? It's about time. There'll be some new technology. They'll decide to do it, and it's probably going to be a virtual reality thing at some point. I would imagine, which is something I'm interested in right now as well. I have a project that I'm sort of developing for that. That's another thing I can't really talk too much about, but that's an interesting that technology is interesting to me. I don't know.
It's kind of like your stop. It's kind of like your stop motion brought to life.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, it's. Have you ever experienced put on the goggles in a really immersive VR space? You've tried that? I imagine you guys must have.
Well, yeah, that's the new thing this year. It's not as good as going to the place, but all the kids got the goggles, the VR goggles. You know what I'm talking about with the smartphones.
Yeah, but they're the really high def headsets are the goggles are becoming more available, and they're actually starting to create more content for that. I'd really like to get up to Sundance to see that they've been promoting a lot of VR stuff up there in their New Frontiers program. But I think there's some, it's still very, it's in its infancy still, this art form. So I think there's a lot of stuff to discover with it still.
See, they keep upgrading it, and I know if I go out and get a set, they're just going to come out with a better one next week. So I'm just waiting for a holodeck. Once they've got the holodeck, I'm in.
Yeah, that's I think William Gibson put it best when he was talking about when you buy a computer. You're familiar with William Gibson, the science fiction writer?
Yeah.
He talked about buying, when you buy a computer, he was talking about computers, but same thing, any kind of technology. It's like buying a block of ice. You put it in your trunk, and as you're driving home, it's melting. It's sitting back there melting. So when you actually get it home, you don't have, quite as your thing is already,
outdated.
It's lost so much value, and it's already less than it was.
That's so 8 hours ago, Mark, right?
Yeah. It's so last minute.
All right, brother. I tell you what, we love you. We support everything you do. You're amazing. We're going to ask you to stay on.
Fellas. Yeah.
You're welcome. Can you stay on the line 1 second?
This was fun. Yeah.
I just want to remind people to go to marksteger.net because, Mark, I'm looking at your IMDb page. I'm looking at your personal page. And boy, there's a lot of stuff on there that you never even put up on IMDb.
No.
So there's just a lot out there that
your IMDb is relatively short, really.
There's a lot of stuff on there there's a lot of stuff that's not on there that I've done, but also, obviously doesn't have a lot of the live work that I've done. But on my site, if you go to the bio and you click on the paragraph that talks about my old group, Osseous Labyrinth, that'll take you to a few pages that has some video and some photos of that work. That whole site is still in progress. It needs a serious updating of the reels and all that. It's one of those things, guys.
We know.
Updating the website.
You're packing it up right now. Well, Mark, thanks for coming on. Stay on the line 1 second. Nathan, what do you say we close the show?
Let's close the show and pay some bills.
All right, everybody. Mark Steger, the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. Shadow Nation, baby. Check him out at Steger.net. That's www.marksteger.net. All right, Mark. Have fun packing, brother.
All right. Yeah, fun is the operative word for sure. Thanks, you guys. This was fun.
Hey, man. No problem.
We had a blast.
You hear the music. It's queuing up right now. What an interview, Nathan. What an interview.
It was awesome.
We better do this. Special thanks, guys, to all our homes, all our sponsors, Stitcher Smart Radio, Spreaker, the world's listening. Are you? Check them out, Spreaker.com, Planet Paranormal, Geeky Antics Network, Serious Geeks, Silly Fun. Check them out, GeekyAntics.net, Attentive Home Healthcare, AttentiveHC.com, SWL Project, Give, Share, Everybody Needs Nate. A little love. Check them out, the SWLproject.org. From the haunted back roads of America, this has been another exclusive Shadow Nation interview. Don't go changing America. You know we won't. Nathan?
Because we love you.
Night Nation.